Excels and MoneyMantics. I am your happy healer, Keith Landy. It is August 23rd at 12:07 p.m. We are doing an update here for the day just to see where you guys are at, and just also hello, and to see where you're at. So let's see here. I just sent out a message. I don't know if it's the new ones now, but I don't know if it kicked up the way I expected it to work or not. Might be a new different stream now. It might be that I should go on a different stream. Let me see here. Now that we're on a new stream. So we have, and you're looking at it there, Moderna has actually gone up to 409. And that was something I wasn't sure was going to happen. And here now we're looking at it. That's good. That's exactly what we needed to happen last week, and we were so sure of it that it was going to happen. But just one day off, and that's all it takes to miss out on that. Alright, well, it's happening now, and some of you guys are real smart. You are on it. Okay, so now the new chat's open, I'm pretty sure here. And what I will remind you guys of is the Discord that we've got going on. I want you to join it, so I left the Discord up there. And so we'll go over some of these different positions right now, what's going on in the market. AMC is at 36.47. I got into a small short position on this, by the way, and we'll jump back over there, which, by the way, it's also up, Cardano, and I'll tell you what I did over there, quite interesting. AMC is on its second run up now, so we can see it dip down to about 35.90, something like that, right in that area right there. That would have been the lowest, so right at 36, and then it started going back up again, and I suspect that'll go above 37. That's what I hope to see today for the market on Moderna. I'm sorry, on AMC, and it could actually end today close to $40. That would be nice, and maybe we might get something going on it. Depends on what goes on with the market. Remember, it's a good hedge bet on your other plays as well, because if the market should drop, we should actually see an increase in AMC at that point. So again, we'll be watching for that stuff. Other than that, and that's mainly because the float is owned by apes mostly, and they're not selling, so that's just how that effect works at that point. People are quite optimistic, and the sentiment is high on AMC, higher than we've seen it in a while at 98%. I didn't even judge in for the day yet, but let's go ahead and poof. All right, I think we had it in there actually. So yeah, we really feel good about AMC. Let's go ahead and get back out over to Coinbase for a moment, and I'll tell you what's going on here. We see Cardano, which has continued to make its rise. It's at 291 now. It got up to 1.294. So I suspect that can reach $3 before the day is even over. And if you're looking at the day chart here, it's up 12.77% on the day. On the hour, it's up 1.3%, which is about typical. It's been running, some of these hours have had more extreme push, like right here. But generally speaking, if you go down on this, you'll see there's more of about a 70% buy-in ratio compared to and only a 30% sell ratio. And typical hold time for this is 73 days. I really would like to hold down longer than that. I want to see this thing 5x at least. That would be nice. And then sell it maybe at 5x, depending on how I feel about things. With crypto, most people that have sold have only lived to later regret selling. Crypto has a lot of value like that, so. And that's what we'll do. We'll try to come in, provide some good information. We'll add to it any additional details, and we'll get out. Try and respect your time and my time I like that plan a lot better. So we have Cardano, and also I could address any questions you have that you might be coming up with. Again, that Discord is on the chat, so go ahead and add yourself to that. I also update there what the moves are that I'm making or what I'm looking at, just so you have it for your information. And also, you have the ability to do that as well. And then I go back into it, and it's in my mind when we're going over these updates in the show. So it's all kind of rolling back into one effort, if you could see. Yeah, so I went ahead and made a few moves over here, and I'll show you what they were. I traded, we would probably have to go to the trades to show you what happened. Let's see. Where would we go for that? I've never done that before. Recurring buys and no. Although these are good lists. We have new on Coinbase, so it'll show the new coins there. And I like looking at the coins that are cheaper but have a lot of support behind them, because those are the ones that'll 10x. We need to find our 10x coins and make sure that we promote those 10x coins. So we have here none that I've heard of, but it says they're new. And then that's all assets. And then over here you see these are the gainers. So we have Dash today, that's up 15.34%. Let's see what kind of run that's been on. For the day, that's good. 39 up for the day. It's moving along. And for the week, it's up. Oh, see, it's, well, if you go for the day, right, and then you go for the week, whoops, I think it's up almost literally the same. 39 up. Oh, no, it's double that. So it's gone about 33% up for the week, and for the day it's 16%. All right, how about for the month? For the month, it's up 100%. How about for the year? 200%. See, these are the kinds of coins you like, but also that's getting kind of high now. I mean, this is going to start, it needs to, it could 10x and still be less than Ethereum from here. What's its market cap? 2.9 billion. Oh, see? So its circulating supply is only 10.3 million. That's why it's going up so much as well. And its popularity on Coinbase is 57. This is probably a good one to get in because it will attract attention with its higher price as it goes, right? I would imagine. And as it keeps a lower supply, that can set it up for a good opportunity. Although, take a look here. You have 47% buy and a 52.6% sell ratio. You would imagine the percentage of Coinbase customers who increased or decreased their net position in Dash over the last 24 hours through trading. Right. Well, typical hold time is 24 days. People are not staying on it for a really long time. I wonder what typical hold time is on like Bitcoin. I bet you we'll learn that it's not really that impressive as you would think. Let's go take a look. And then we'll jump back. Bitcoin, typical hold time, 83 days. Folks got to learn how to hang on to assets. That's a big problem in investing, is learn to be a buyer and buy more on the dips. That's a big thing. When it drops, you buy more. You don't sell then. Definitely don't sell on the red days on these assets, because they will ultimately come back. And if you sell on the red days, then you accept the loss. And once you're out of it, you can't get back in for the same price oftentimes. You get into trouble doing that. And we've all seen it. So remember that. That'll save you a lot of grief. And if you have any questions for me while we're going over these things, You can go ahead and put them out there and I'll take a look at it before we get off. So the market cap is $931 billion on Bitcoin right now. So it's approaching $1 trillion. Ethereum has a market cap of $389 billion, 0.9. And I think what is their circulating supply is 117 million. I mean, if you think about it, that's part of why these that's part of why they're running. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin supply, we get down here, circulating supply, 19 million. And now you know why it gets so high, is because there's only 19 million of those coins, and there'll only ever be 21 million. Whereas with Ethereum, it still has a high market cap and it's coming up on Bitcoin. It might even pass Bitcoin for some of the advantages that it has. And its popularity is number 2, just behind Bitcoin. And its circulating supply is 117.2 million. And there can be an advantage to psychology when it comes to the price of these coins and what people prefer to buy and how far they think it can go based on, the price of one coin. I think there can be some disadvantage to having it so expensive in the psychological game to seeing it raise 10x. People are looking at, man, how do you get a coin that's already 50,000? That'd be like 500,000. Is that really where we're going to go by the end of this year? If they're looking for a nice 10x, no, I don't think so. To be honest with you, I think there's better coins like Cardano. It's at 294 now. And it's running us up. It's doing the trick. It's bringing the portfolio up now to 4266. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. And like I said, I like the other ones. I'm coming around on them, like Bitcoin. I think that they're getting a little bit away from let's kill the Fed. I know the Fed isn't fun right now in the way they do things, but I know we'll need it in the future. And I'm totally about America. Okay, I'm America. I'm about America, okay? You want your Social Security checks? You better keep that Federal open, because that Federal Reserve is the last resort lender, the last resort caretaker of the people. Once you don't have that, then you don't have ability to get money to do the government's work, and so we can't have that. What we need is to do things better for people to build up the spectre and the human spirit, and then we can have everything better off. When people have high morale, the markets have additional value because of it, don't you know? And I think you do know. I think you're smart enough to know. And but yeah, we're at 294, and I like where we're at with Cardano. I think we're going to be seeing the break of $3 soon, and from there, you know what? That's the psychological hold that makes a coin go. Is you see, okay, it's $3, that can become $6, and that could become $12. And if you take a look here, the one thing about Cardano is they have a lot of supply out there, but it keeps that price lower and still makes those kinds of moves possible. You see, because here's what's going to happen. The market cap on Cardano is already 93.8 billion, and it's growing fast. If it 10x's from this point, that's why I'm looking for a 5x. If it 10x's from this point, it's going to be up there where Bitcoin is. We're talking $1 trillion. Maybe by that time Bitcoin might double up or triple up, but I don't see Bitcoin going to 10x from there. Do you see what I'm saying? This is about taking on the coin that has the most likelihood of going 10x or 5x. All right, so let's step out, because I got out of all of those coins except for Cardano. I pretty much got into Cardano instead of everything else. It's the one that's moving. And I got out of Dogecoin. To me, that's just been going down slightly, not really going up. I see the Dogecoin millionaire. He sold his Bitcoin $7,200 more into Dogecoin, and he's the Doge, It's such a psychological thing for them too, and how hard they work for an extra penny here and a penny there. But I think his biggest gains are already behind him on this right now, because it's another one of those, how far do you have to go to get it to double? How far do you have to go to get it to triple? And this has got 32 already. It's making 10,000 coins every minute. It makes a massive amount of coins. And, we want to be a currency for the people. Okay, but it makes a massive amount of coins. And we already have a circulating supply of 131 billion of these things. And this has a market cap of 41.6 billion. So for it to triple, it would be at 150 billion, still making 10,000 coins every minute. I think realistically Cardano was a better place for that money, and I think that it'll continue to grow. This is our Discord here. Yeah, Moderna's going crazy today. Man, I'll tell you what, if we could only have gotten, I wish that I had bought that call today earlier, Jason. And if we could have only gotten last week on Friday to be what today is. We knew it was happening. We knew it was coming. Bears always think it's a bear day coming. Tell me the last time you've seen these short sellers, which is some of them are just attaching themselves to that and don't know how to do anything else. Tell me when is the last time they've seen hope for a green day? I mean, to them it's always a red day coming, and you're retarded if you get a call, and how they're going to laugh at you if you lose. And it's just a rude energy, and it does throw you off a bit. So they might be themselves actual people working for the, citadels. You get my point? And I showed here I got into Regeneron because I was able to enter that at a point where I felt like it would go up from. And I don't think that, I think I was better off, although I didn't have the money. That was a $200 position, and it expires this week, and so maybe I'll do okay with it. Maybe it'll cost me, but I think it'll do okay. I think Regeneron, when it moves, it can move 30-40 points. It's been doing that recently, and I think it's going to move to like 900 or 1,000 when it's done moving, or slowing down. And so unless the market changes or something like that, because I do think Regeneron is not completely removed from the market woes. Because I don't think it's really on anybody's radar. It's just kind of quiet over there at Regeneron, but making progress. So I decided I would get in on that, and I bought a $200 call that expires this week. And that could work out, or it might not. We'll see. We'll learn together. And so that's Regeneron. If you want to get on that, it's up to you. I'm not a financial advisor, but I think what has happened, and I haven't looked at it recently. Let's go ahead and jump and take a look at Regeneron. My position on Regeneron right now is up $2.50. The stock itself is at 666. Ooh, no, don't stay there. Okay, so it's not losing terribly, but it's set up for a win. And look at Moderna blowing away, 409.72. Let's look at it on our other... This is Moderna, and it's just been having a nice ride up today. This is exactly what we were hoping to get on Friday and just couldn't do it. Boys, girls, my friends, do you realize how well Friday would have gone for us if it did this? Man. Thursday, if it did this, that would have been better. I would have preferred it to be Thursday. If it had done this on Thursday, that's all we could have ever asked for. We would have broken over 20,000. Jason would be up, even more. He was just on it hard. I mean, this is what we really needed. And so, you're off by a day and it kills you. And that's why I say sometimes it's better just to get those longer calls. And now you see why. And now it's breaking 410. So, I mean, this thing is on fire. essentially. It's $27 up already, and it's making its move. Moderna has so much hope, don't you know, the things that they're doing, and people don't know how to value it. How do you value the vaccine for HIV, and you're done with HIV now? How do you value? Same thing for cancer. Honestly, I hope they don't overprice this stuff. People deserve to have a relief from that. But at the same point, the company's going to be rewarded for that. Oh yeah. Think about all the organizations who have been working so hard to make progress on dealing with cancers. And now look at the progress they've already made with melanoma. As it turns out, they have to get a blood sample of your cancer so they could turn it off. And they can actually do that with this mRNA way of programming cells. It's unbelievable what's becoming possible with Moderna. And people are recognizing it. And they're betting on it, moreover. And man, and that's what we should be in. But you know what? You just got to be patient in the market. It's so important. You must be patient. Had we been patient, we would be in this now. And I know some of you are. Congratulations, by the way. But we are in Regeneron. And it had a nice run coming up from right here. And it's tested these levels twice. I think this time it's ready to break through. It stopped coming down right here. That's kind of where I bought it. I bought it at this level. I'm not losing money on it. And I suspect it's going to grow probably beyond the number I'm on now, which it's 715. So that's a call that expires this week. Now these particular options contracts I've been watching, and they've been keeping their value throughout the week. And so Moderna and Regeneron have a lot in common in that way, but Regeneron doesn't have all of this heavy, compared to, even Moderna's volume's gone down, but you see here, this volume is like small, which is nice, because this has a pattern that you can count on based on small volume with a lot of hope. That means that a lot of people have yet to discover this baby, and it's already moving up. So that's why I like Regeneron. And then if you go into the analysis here, you'll see that it's considered a buy, a strong buy, and by one a hold, but in no cases an underperformer sell. And you'll see here that analysts themselves are pricing it above where it's currently at in two cases, and just below in one case. And in one case is where they are, it's at 906. And analysts are notorious for underpricing these companies. So Regeneron to me has a lot of hope. I think it's a good play for options. That's why I was looking into it. It doesn't have a lot of option participants, so you have to be careful. I think that the best way to get into Regeneron would probably be keeping to the 45-day mark around that time, and getting in for calls. I don't think you'd want to get in for puts on Regeneron, to be honest. If I thought so, I would say so. But generally speaking, you'll see I'm out to support companies. I'm not trying to find the next company to short, That's not really what my interest is in the market. So here we are, 666.40, coming up from 6, no. See, yeah, there it is. Coming up from 663. And yeah, I think we'll go ahead and bust through 670 today on Regeneron. I think that's totally going to happen. Yeah, and it's a volatile stock. You see it moves around. 654, so there's room to move on it. And let's look at a little bit back though. 5 days. Let's look at a month. All right, let's look at 3 months. See that steady up, but not really no down, right? That's what we like to see. And that's 3 solid, steady months like that. So I think it's a good buy, and I would say this is even a buy and hold as a stock itself. Again, this is only going to get known more. It's on a steep curve when you pull it out to the 3-month mark, and even when you pull it back into the 5-day, weekish mark, you could still see that from the beginning to the end, you're up you're still up here. Let me see. There you go. Yeah, 642 to 6, so that's 24 some odd points. There you go. Pull it out a little bit if I can. And 598 on August 5th. Look at that. So it's already gone almost 100 points, really, in just the last month. I mean, we're not looking at, this is just the last month. When you go back to 3 months again, it's up. Yeah, it's up like 170. But it's good because it's not going down. I mean, it might have a small down here or there, but it's not crashing. So it doesn't seem like it seems like it's got a good, solid, steady go for up, in that it's being more and more recognized by people. And the people that are behind it are 100% behind it. Look at that. That's the sentiment. Well, I mean, there's only, hold on, let me see, predicted. Oh, okay, that's right. That's right. That's all that means. I was going to say, there's more than 2 people voting on this thing. But there's not really a lot of comments here. You see, 3 hours ago, there's a comment, 700 question mark. I'll give them that. And then 7 hours ago, broke all the way out. I mean, this is like no attention at all on Regeneron. 2 days ago, another comment. I mean, Regeneron is ready to open itself up and say, hey, I'm here. And I think it can make some progress. I think it really could. And Regeneron is put in a position where it's the only other way to deal with COVID if you're a little bit ahead of the game, if you didn't get vaccinated, and you're looking to, make COVID less of a problem. You don't want to die from it, for one thing. And it decreases death, and it decreases the length of time you have to deal with the disease. So that's what Regeneron is, and it's been quite successful in that. That's where it's getting a lot of its push from, and it's only started. Remember, we're going to be doing this pandemic for a while, folks. It's not going away next week. It's not going away next year. Got it? Or even 3 years from now. That's why when I always talk about it, I know we need to do technology. We need to advance more. That's the only way we're going to survive in this crazy world. I mean, we're having more of these black swan events, and it's not even coming to an end. Back on February of last year, there was a YouTuber that came out, popular YouTuber, was talking about black swan events. And because it was February 5th at that time, they knew about COVID. It was a localized problem in China. And he had mentioned it. He said, and now could COVID become a black swan, or coronavirus become a black swan event? No, I don't think so. Because if you look at China, they've had situations like this occur in the past, and they've always been able to quell the situation and keep it contained. And they're getting better at doing that. This is at a time when it seemed like, they were really on top of things. And then it turned around and then it did become a black swan event. And so you could see inside the comments, exactly what that was and how dramatically different it turned out compared to what he thought on February 5th. In fact, it proves the very nature of what black swan events are talked about for in the first place, because the people never consider just how real the threat is, that this is more contagious, that China cannot keep it contained, that this is perhaps even contagious on a level that's in spite and on purpose. The world is such a crazy place. Black swan events are easy to occur in such an environment. And here he was talking about one, and again, to the extent that we can't recognize when they're coming until only after when they came, and then we say, oh, well, couldn't you see how it was so obvious? And that's exactly how he reported on it, and he himself became a victim of it, realizing, we all looking at it, knowing he gave us a good education on what it was, and turned out to be, he fell for it. No, COVID's not going to be anything. COVID was a black swan event, right? How many of these black swan events can we handle? COVID cost us already easily, $7-8 trillion in the open. And what more than that maybe even that is in the behind the scenes, dark budgets and all this. I imagine more. We've got very fickle times right now. People coming in from all over the world, from in the southern borders just open, so they crawl right over it. Welcome, here's your green card, get a job, we need workers, Americans don't want to work. That's not what's happening. We're trying to advance. We're at crossroads. Don't be more patient with the American people. These are the people you're supposed to be serving. Oh, well, we're bringing in more people, we're making them Americans. You know what? There's an effort to destroy this country, and we better watch out, because then we won't have even the ability. That's why I want to keep the Federal Reserve good, so that we have the ability to do things. And what are they trying to do? Destroy our very ability at all. I mean, all these people, now we got Afghanistan. You're going to have, if they're successful in getting all those people out of there in the first place, which we need to hope that they are, well, then they're going to bring over 11,000 Americans that were all settled over there and coming back home now. And then another 80,000 Afghans who supported us in the conflict, who would be killed, punished, and tortured if we left them there. And so they have a right to come. Okay, so now that's another 80. Well, how, in what world, in what way, in what reason, rhyme, or ability does it make sense to have pulled all those troops out of there, knowing that that was the price to do it? Well, in that case, I think it might have been better to, continue to provide air support and, just hold things over until we get our act together in America. Don't go making us weaker around the world. We're fighting each other. This is awful. More and more black swan events are capable of happening in such an environment, don't you know? And I do worry about that, because my thinking is I want to see us advance quickly before more of this bad stuff happens, so that we don't lose our way and then greed and evil ultimately occupy and run the world. Right now, America still is able to exert its power. But imagine if America wasn't able to exert power in the world. Then it would be China just calling the shots, really. And you'd have Russia, and you'd have more of a stance where war can erupt between these nations. We don't need that. What we need is a more powerful America that is scientifically advanced, that's moving robotically, building a robotic and a technologically advanced economy, so that we can build the first super consumers in America, and just build so much in general. The more you build is the stronger your country is. That's the way it works. If you don't want inflation, but you want a lot of extra money, well, then you've got to build a lot. And that's why we need robots. They could be building the new cars of tomorrow, and that's actually how they are putting it together. So we need more robotic ability. We need an income for all to really show that humanity matters. And we need to put that into the stock market to build our industry up and to make the people owners of, the companies. Granted, I know that because it is an income for all, some people will need to draw from it and go do what they got to do in life. But ultimately, putting that much money in will make a big difference, and those people will be used to also keeping money in. They'll be seeing it growing, and they won't want to take it out, because a healthy market that doesn't have short sellers constantly trying to destroy it and debase it and literally destroy dollars everywhere. It's like burning dollars in the effort of winning for the short seller. Burns through $100 billion to make $1 billion. And the $100 billion is the loss of the markets, the company, the people, the profit, and the $1 billion is just their profit only. I mean, this is awful. We can't allow that anymore, and so we stop that altogether. And these people start making money. The market isn't such a scary place to be. And that is what I think is the only way we'll be able to save our country and get to the world of abundance and build the first American super consumers and actually have the ability to take care of people the right way, because it's a stronger economy, and have the ability to build a new technological world of tomorrow. and that every day is the next tomorrow. We need to make so much progress, but that we have that ability because we're investing in it. And that is the world of abundance. And right now, with our current technological advancement that we've already made, we're capable of doing that. And if we don't do it, we continue to fiddle our thumbs as China is demanding and getting their way and their own people. They're making a very strong, unified dictatorship over there where they're using new technology. Hitler would have loved to have their technology to round up their people and make them so in line. That is not what we want our technology for. It should be making people's lives easier. If we don't get to doing that in America, there won't be a place later on that has that ability to do that. America is the one nation under God. And why is it so important to be under God? Because God is love and truth. If you get both of those together, then you have a home run. Love and truth together. And I talked about that yesterday. And it's so powerful. Love and truth together makes it so that you can win in anything you do. Imagine the nation that's working off of love and truth for its own people, recognizing their value and that they themselves recognize one another's value, that nobody needs to actually worry about dying on the streets because they are protected in their womb of America, their loving place. They could never die there. So they're always free to be as gumptious as they like to serve back to humanity. And really that becomes the goal, is that people want to do better for their fellow man, and that they're not really free to do that, to pursue that. They don't have the freedom to pursue the education that is the answer to their particular interest, whatever they may be. They are not appreciated for that. My brother was an artist before he died, and I'll be having a lot more information I share on his death because it just touches our family and it was so wrong, and it speaks to like the horrible problems in the healthcare system today with lack of care. But in any event, he was an artist and he could draw like nobody could, and he was never appreciated for those talents. He was able to tell stories. He was so artistic, and now he's gone. He was in his 40s, only 45, 47. Why did he have to go? And yet it could have been so much better for him, and he wasn't even appreciated for the things that he could do. That's why people are falling in depression. They don't feel like they have a reason for living. They feel like nobody cares. And in large, in greed hell, that's just the way it is. It's a sickness that perverts itself over the people. And it shouldn't be there. It should be gone. And I'll tell you what, our lives count on it being gone. Because if we don't unify and use the strengths of unity, which is love, and bringing masses of people together based on solving problems that were in greed hell, not solvable. You can't solve racism in greed hell because greed hell causes racism. It continues to perpetrate it on the people. It's the division force. The only way you ever get to have anything that resembles progress when it comes to these big issues that you seek an answer for is by doing love and truth together. You can't do greed and make greed okay in society and have a good outcome. It's not possible. And that's why I specifically make it a big point to talk about it. But I've been noticing all over the internet and people, they're wisening up to this. It's not just me, you know. I have a way of putting things in words, but they also see it. So people are seeing it. They know the difference. They demand better. And this world is a world that's going to take us off the cliff. This is the world where black swan events are ignored beforehand and afterhand because there's no care before and there's no care after. They can't summon the care sufficient to deal with problems, so they hide them, forget about them, or look the other way. That's living in greed hell. We do it all the time. Yellowstone, should we be ignoring the fact that that's due for eruption? Should we be ignoring how close all of our cities are to major places that could just fall off the earth? Are we smarter for doing that, or might we be ignoring some major problems that are just getting worse as we go? And I think those questions are fair, and people are in harm's way. We shouldn't have masses of people dying because of ignorance. If people know Well, look, let's just put it out there. If you live in this city, there's a 50-50 chance you could die within the next 100 years because of a black swan event, we call them, but essentially of you're sleeping and living on a volcano. Just so you know. I mean, think about if that erupts. That's what we're talking about. And so I think a lot of those people would actually respond in a way that is more conducive to their lives in long term. Yeah, I know it'll depress certain areas but that's a natural movement, right? If you have people that are moving out of areas that are more dangerous. You just got to be straight up with people. You can't lie to them. Like, look at this thing, what's going on with COVID. With all the masks, everything that's become so political, right? If you wear a mask or not, give me a break. Personally, I don't like the way they feel. But when COVID first came, I was a big mask wearer because we didn't know what this thing was. What happens? You catch it and your skin falls off, you rot and die in 3 days? There's things that actually do that. And, we didn't want to go like that. But, since we've learned that it wasn't that, it was like if, like any other, it was a bit more than a simple cold, really. And for some people, for other people, it was weeks in the hospital. And for some yet, it was more than weeks with a ventilator. And then for the sad last category, it was all of that plus death at the end. And that's hard, going through all that pain. That's what we had to watch my brother going through. All of that continued pain. It's like, man, you just pray and you say, God, I know there's a better way. People shouldn't have to suffer like that. That's not why we're alive. And you're supposed to be living on a journey, not wanting the journey but never doing anything, never having the ability, saying, oh yeah, we're in freedom, but you're not actually free to pursue your life's journey. So are you free? Because that's why you're here. Right? You're not here to sit and rot and for your talents to be wasted, certainly, or to continuously work in a thankless job that is just about going through the motions to earn your right to live. This is insanity. We're supposed to be doing it much better. We're supposed to be caring for one another. What do you know? What an odd notion. Who would have ever figured that? And that the result from that comes out a much better society. And, when you give people a way to survive and you make the world better as you do it, then you don't see the bad people as much, do you? You don't see the people stealing because they're literally that desperate. And you know what? There's a lot of people who are much better at taking advantage of government programs and grants, getting free money, getting kickbacks and allowances and all kinds of things that other people don't get, they don't know about. And they're not sophisticated in that way. But that when they become so desperate, they will steal this or that so that they could survive. And that the talents that they do have they're quite good at, but are not appreciated. You see, we got to do something about that. We really do. I'm telling you what, if we expect to live and survive as a country, we must do something about those poor, forgotten people who are becoming the next terrorist, America-grown terrorist. And then they do something so horrible and people curse them, but they don't curse themselves for accepting this world we live in to be this way. They forgot to do that part. Where to accept their own shame for what we're putting out, the kinds of kids we're putting out. They're so depressed when they should be having so much better. We were promised when we were their age that we would have this Jetsons world, this advanced world, this world of advancement where things got easier. Things did get easier, but it was used to keep us more in line, to spy on us, than it was to make our lives easier. And you see, when it comes to their privacy, they love their privacy because that's where all of the corruption happens. That's where they do their misdeeds. In fact, the people at the bottom, they steal to survive, and they get in trouble and go to prison for it. And the people at the top, they steal for greed, and they get away with it, done in dark rooms and deals that you'll never hear about. This world is filled with greed. And if we don't get around to fixing that problem, again, We are finished as a society. People already know it's happening. We're losing our ability further and further, and we have such great capability, but we have to capitalize soon on that ability. Stop wasting the talents of your people. Ask for their help to build the great new age of abundance while we still have something to build with. I'm telling you, that's the way we got to go. And I don't see either one of them going in that direction. What I see is continued fighting and just horrible off their keel. They cannot make the right decisions. They're so concerned about the political outcome that they cannot make the right decisions. Look at what's going on in Afghanistan. That's not the result of somebody who's using prudent choice making. That's the result of somebody who's doing egotism and in competition for making a name for themselves, for having done something, and massively miscalculating. That's what it looks like. They weren't at their job. It was a loss of focus. It was dereliction of duty because of those things as president. And still to this day, oh, well, I don't know about no threat. Even that we have ISIS back on the picture. So now you're bringing ISIS back. And this is what happens when you put a big vacuum in there. Now ISIS can just walk straight in. Hello, I showed up. Where's my spot? And the Taliban's going to give you a chair right there. No problem. As they give pot shots away from the Americans who are running with their tails between their legs. It wasn't so long years ago where we were sending in masses of soldiers more, people who died in order to free that very city where it's all happening in, and the cities surrounding it. Now, we could have kept a stronghold there had we done things with a bit more prudence, a bit more care for the investment that we had already put in there, so that we don't end up having 80 or 90 or 100,000 people having to come here. Now, did we count on that when we first made those decisions? And Mr. Biden says, you know what? I thought I made the right decision. I thought of everything. We had to get out. There is never going to be a good time. I made the right decision. Well, were you also thinking about those masses of people that now need to come here? And he said it himself. So he said, yeah, we'll have to bring them here then. They made their commitment. That's what we'll have to do. Okay, so you're accepting that. Another, 80, 90,000 Afghans become Americans. Where are they going to be living? Where are they going to be going? And now we got to pay for all of them. We can't just dump them in the street. They only do that to Americans. That's for you and me. Especially if you're my color, or if you're white, then you are the devil. Just know that about you. And that is a horrible message. That's not unifying people. It's not meant to unify people, obviously. It's meant to incite and divide. And what do we have at stake except for everything? I'm so over doing things the wrong way, Okay, folks, let's see where we're at. That was a nice little... Let's see if we moved along on this a bit. No, we're actually losing a little ground, but not much. It goes back so little for how far it pushes forward. So we're going to give Regeneron a break. Although, because we have to consider what the general DJI is doing, which it's up, by the way. Oh, man, I'll tell you, the never-ending gobstopper of an economy. The numbers keep going up, but Americans are getting no help. And somehow their investments are always shorted. I mean, they really do a number on the American people, don't they? They never have a point where, oh, well, that's enough. We're done screwing the Americans for now. Nope, that day never comes. The SPY's also up. I mean, it's cooking. It's cooking. And Moderna's kind of flattened off at, and let's get on this right. This is the day. Yeah, maybe I ought to go back and take a look at some of those other ones. I think I looked at them on the day too, but if they were on months, I wouldn't like that. But yeah, we're doing good. 410 on this. It's just settled off there for a bit, gaining steam. but I do want to check the SPY again. Yeah, we are. For the day, that's the day. Yeah, we are. Okay, all those checked out right. I just want to make sure. That would be a silly mistake. And AMC, that's the one we didn't look at yet. Wow, we're at 37 on AMC, which is an increase. I hope to see it go to 40 today. And what I'd really like to see is for AMC to really get its MOAS going on, man. I really want to see that MOAS get going. That mother of all short squeezes to really kick in gear and make it happen for the people, make it happen for the apes. So let's see where we're at with this account, because I know we're getting hurt a little bit with some things, but on other things we're doing a little bit better on. So we are up $506, and wow, this is showing from last week. Why is it doing that? I thought it was cleared out from that. Maybe it's just where I was looking at. Yeah, okay, that's all it was. Okay, so yeah, it's $508 up for the day. I don't want to know last week. That's over. That's in the past. And that's how you make progress. Because you'll never make it to, like, see, we went from 25. You never make it progress if you're worried about what you lost. If what you lost is dictating your moves, you're finished. Okay, so I'm reading up on some of these comments here, and I'll read them out here. It says, Bitcoin to the moon or damp? No, I would say Bitcoin is going to go to the moon eventually, but Bitcoin is going to take its time going there, not as quick as other coins like the one I'm behind, which is Cardano. I think that one's really going to be the one to take it to the roof, baby. So that's what I'd say on that one. And keep asking questions. Thank you. And get a part of our Discord, because we'll be coming here with so much business and more. And what we do is we start the market and end the market with you. If it's really busy and we're doing great or whatever the case is, we'll stick right on through. But ultimately speaking, it's best that we just pop in when we've got what to say and come back out again. And that things would progress nicer like that, I think. So, wanna do us a favor, and I think that is Wanner. I don't know how I would pronounce that. It's in a different language, but do join our Discord, and you can be involved in that and learn a lot more. And then when you're here, you'll be a part of that community, and you'll see the Discord and the show working together in consort. Okay, so we have hedges won't allow you, Dragman. No, he asked if I'm on Vicodin. I don't do Vicodin. I don't do any of those. This is not the way to, I don't, that was a past of mine, yes, but not anymore. No, sir. I use marijuana, medical marijuana, and I'm open about that, and I support that. I think it's a great thing. It helps relieve, for me, pains that are deep and just horrible for my back that I haven't gotten any health care on. And it typically I haven't been smoking during the day, but when I've done this show, you know, I'm up and moving around more, and I found it to be more relaxing. And also something about marijuana keeps me more entertaining when I'm in my show, more focused on a lot of the things I might miss. And I still gauge that. It's maybe that's not totally true. Maybe that I might be myself an audience to my own show in my own mind, you know, but that's how I view it. And then maybe I'm wrong because I've been smoking. Either way, and I'm fair to that. I'll look at that. But I honestly think that I've been providing a good service to the people who watch. I'm not a brand new smoker, so it's not like it's throwing me off. I think that what I ultimately do is challenge people to join me in a deeper spiritual place so that we can talk about more problems than just the market. It's really going to a deeper place. And people are so caught up. It's just like we were talking in the Black Swan events. People can't see what's happening because they're so following the pre-designed world that was put there for them to follow. I don't think that's... Another thing for me is, I don't think that's the best idea, but another thing about me, essentially, is I'm a pretty introverted person. And when I'm thinking, I feel like I'm looking you right in your eyes, right? And sometimes I want to look away and think. I don't want to think about, oh, well, I got to be always talking or something. It's not about always talking. It's about expressing myself. There's a difference. And I'm a passionate person, and I want to express myself. I want to express the ideas that we're sharing, and then I want to move on and come back and keep your time valuable. And I think that ultimately I'm getting better at that. So doing finances is something second nature for me because I've been in the business world for my entire life. And I also know how to communicate with people. I do it all the time on MoneyMantics, and I enjoy looking them in the eye. But when it comes to thinking rapidly about various financial opportunities and how much is at stake for people, and that it's just really important work, isn't it? So you don't want to mow through that stuff without giving it some really strong consideration and to not miss anything, and that they appreciate that. So that's what I'm about. We are at $2.95 for Cardano, by the way, just in case you don't know. And Cardano is moving along. It's at $2.96. So yeah, I think it's going to hit $3 today. The portfolio is moving along pretty good with it, and so that's what I would focus on, my friend. Yeah, so no Vicodin or morphine or any of that stuff. Longer calls were the smart bet. That's right, longer calls were the smart bet. I've been saying it all day. And we just got shorter calls. We got screwed because of that. Some of us did. Some of us got longer calls. Is using data centers and money to study retail investor psychology. You ain't kidding. And they're out to hurt us. They're not here to make our lives better, to work with us. They're here to hurt us. Study retail investor psychology rather than pricing. Wednesday is the day to get out to beat the hedgies. Okay, see, that's a good notion right there. If you can't afford following weak options at non-astronomical prices. And you know what? So when you want to be in the game, I think you want to get, if you can't afford it, again, it goes back to the price because he's right, these astronomical prices. I would like to have myself been in for 45 days. That's what I do on the AMC. I've had different points where they're quite considerably up. Why? Because I had time. Time is a beautiful thing. It's so valuable, as it turns out. Meaty McGreedy took out, I could imagine, millions of dollars in these call options on Tesla. He had everything riding on it. If they'd went up, he would have looked brilliant. He would have made $10 million, increasing his wealth by 10 million, perhaps. Had they gone up, like parabolically, going to 1,000, going to 1,200 per share. This is probably what he was thinking by these times. But instead, these times have brought a different reality. Instead, the price has gone down. So now Meaty McGreedy is holding on to a massive loss with these same contracts that he wanted to win on. But here's where his saving grace is. Because he took a long time on them, as long as he doesn't sell them and accept the loss, there is still a good chance it'll get back to a point where he at least becomes even and made whole again. And if not, to go and grow like he ever wanted to do. And that's what the market does. The main friend of individuals in the market is sticking with your bet. If you're a winner and you want to take profit, then you can move on. Or if you're working for a goal and you met your goal and now you need to go do it. whatever the case is. Ultimately speaking, people are investing for their future. So the goal that is most important to them is building that portfolio up. And so you have to use common sense too. Like, you don't, depending on, again, whether you're seeking to complete a goal or save for your retirement, are two totally different things. You might double down in situations that make smart if you're attempting to achieve a goal, whereas in the effort to make good returns for a retirement portfolio, you would do completely different, right? But they're both important, they're both consequential in your life, and yet they're both played completely opposite, really. One is about protecting your wealth and growing more. Depending on your age, it could be going for more aggressive growth. But in all cases, you're holding. If you're buying options, you are limiting your time. So how much do you want to limit your time before you can be successful becomes a serious question. Can you do it for a week? If you can, then you can make some good money. But you need to know exactly when that movement's going to happen. Meaty McGreedy didn't know, so he picked a few years. Now he's got all that time in between to be right. Would have it been better had he found exactly at that bottom place where to buy perfectly and then time it just right? Well, yeah, but that's the point. That time that you buy it for is ultimately the premium of these contracts. And if you lose on that time by the price going down, the only way to gain back on is by the price going up even more than it went down, because you lost even on more time if you sucked away 6 months. But still not as bad as when you're talking about weekly options in their final, expiration. Those options, they continue to lose their value until they're valueless. The best options to be in are in the money calls, is according to the people that are out for at least 45 days. And then, of course, long call options like what Meaty McGreedy was doing and others do, and I'm sure they're smart for, is 2-3 years out. And they get in a company that they believe in. I think such contracts I think those would be great on Moderna. If you were to get those long, they're very expensive, my goodness. But you can get for a few years out. I think those are the best options. Divide all those weeks up by the premium and see what you're paying for those weekly call options compared to what you're paying now for just the final week. Alrighty then. I'll see you soon.